but we're going to, like, what do you want to get out of today? Like, obviously, it's about gaining clarity around who your perfect client is, but what is it going to lead to in the end? Like, so once you get this clarity, what do you want it to lead to for you as a small business owner? Good morning, Maria. Good afternoon, Maria. Um, so, so Maria, we're just going to kind of do like a little quick intro of kind of who you are, what your business is. And yes, we're going to do client clarity and get an idea of who your client is. But what do you want to use it with? Like, how do you want to actually implement it when we're done today? So, Tiffany, you're kind of first on my screen. So if you want to go first, put you in the
I
hot
knew
seat.
it. I'm Tiffany. Right now, I have an e-commerce business that I run. It's a print-on-demand e-commerce business, all out horses. I've been struggling to get it up and going for over a year now. So I've gone through the process of this several times and still can't figure it out, I guess. So I've chosen the wrong client to search after. So what I want is to find clarity on who to create products for to get more sales, basically.
Okay.
I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Awesome. Perfect. So, Susan, you're up next.
All right. My dog will probably be barking the whole time, so I apologize for that. Um, so I own Sassy Girl Beads and a bead store that I kind of run out of my house. Right now, my focus is doing a lot of finished pieces and then going to craft shows and just trying to get the word out that way. And I don't remember the questions at all, but I'm hoping to. I think I know who my ideal client is, or the people who would be my customers. So I'm just looking for, just look. I'm always looking for ideas of how to um, network with them better and to get more of them to just know where I'm at. Um, or maybe I am way off base and I need to shift things, but yeah, I'm just here to learn everything I can.
Okay, perfect. So, messaging maybe is something, getting to know them a little bit better where your messaging is on point for them to hear, kind of like right? It's always about a foreign language. Like we're all talking English, but it's all a foreign language. Like my business is a foreign language to you, et cetera, et cetera. So it's how do you marry that language, right? So they hear what you're saying and they resonate with it. Okay,
Right.
perfect. Maria, you're up. Fill us in, dear. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I have to unmute.
There
There
we
you go.
go. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
All right, let's start over. I work from home. I am a bilingual translator and interpreter. I also teach language as well, for Spanish and English. And I currently got my life coach certification behind me. And I'm trying to gain a clarity on how to better reach my target clients. Because what this industry is kind of like, the world's my oyster kind of thing. So um, I feel like everybody can benefit from this. So I'm just trying to get a feel for how to draw them in, how to keep them, and how to market myself better with my clients.
So knowing you have the translation slash the bilingual, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're certified in life coach, is there one over the other you want to focus on today?
Um, Not really. I guess. I
Okay.
mean, I don't have preference really.
Okay. So my recommendation is you're going to want to pick one because
Okay.
they're not going to be the same persona,
Right.
right? So you're going to want to pick one
Mm-hmm.
and kind of as we work through the workbook and we're talking about um who you're speaking to and their likes and dislikes and where they reside, et cetera, you're going to want to be honing in on that particular brand because now you have two brands almost, right?
Right. And I'm kind of already coaching on the business side of it a little bit with the client, getting her started in her business. So that's where maybe I should focus on that a little bit more and figure
Okay,
out.
so it's up to you,
Yeah.
whatever, whichever one but I would recommend definitely picking one so that way
Mhm.
you don't get frustrated. And at the end of it, you actually feel like you're walking away with tangible information that you can start to use and implement.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards more of the life coaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I dropped the link in. Let me see if I can close my other windows. Thought I did. Here it is. Okay. So I dropped a link in for the workbook, the client clarity. And it should be, I cross my fingers now,
Mm.
that it is the one where you can actually fill in. So let's see here. So when we get to the different sheets, you'll be able to kind of like, oh, look at that. I can switch that up. How exciting. Okay.
Mhm.
I love technology when all of a sudden you discover something new. You're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Excellent.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Learning on the fly. So when you think of your perfect client, what is the sole purpose? Like, what do they do for you as a business owner? What's their number one purpose? Like when they come to you, what is their goal to work with you? Right? So what are they going to take away from that interaction? What are they looking to solve? What are they looking for to come to you for?
To help them solve a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So you're the problem solver. You have the solutions. And even as a product-based business, you're still solving a problem. And I think when people think of product-based and service-based, they get hung up on the point of, well, I'm selling a product. There's no pain point for me to solve, like a service-based industry is,
Mm.
right? But you are solving a problem because they're searching for something. They're searching for your product or something similar, or something's triggering them to search for that solution for that product. So looking, Susan and Tiffany, both of you have products. So people are coming to you for potential gifts. So their pain point is, oh my gosh, I have to find a Mother's Day gift. Where am I going to find it? Where am I going to get them? That's their pain point. Right?
Right.
So when you think of who they are, who is your target market? And we're going to just kind of go with the two general genders, right? So just to make life simple today. And it's,
Mm.
female or male is your target market for the products you make or the services you create and provide. Who is more apt to buy your product? Is it going to be a woman or is it going to be a man?
That's a good question.
For me, it's mostly women between 45 and 55, I would say. But I've had a lot more men purchase. So like
Mm.
So
more
Tiffany,
men
you
purchase for
think it's
their women who
female,
love horses. Everybody loves horses, right?
right? Yeah.
Especially little girls.
Yeah. So you're finding more men buy your product?
Yes.
Have you asked them what's their motivation for purchasing your product? Is it a gift for their wife or their daughter?
Most of them have bought for their daughters,
Okay.
gifts for their daughters, and gifts for their moms. So like I had a lot of Mother's Day sales last year.
Okay.
This year I'm not really marketing right now because I don't have the budget. So
Yeah. So this ties into you, Susan, as well, right?
Mhm.
Because your primary target is female,
Yes.
right? Or they identify as female, they're female,
Mhm.
but they may not be buying for themselves because what as we
Mhm.
do we look at your product and we go,
My
oh,
friend.
that's really pretty.
Mhm.
Do we buy it for ourselves?
Mm-mm.
Not usually. Not usually.
Right. So then who are you then really? You're marketing to the women, but you're talking to who?
The people that they are buying the gift for, in my case, which would, in my situation, would also be women, but um, definitely there's an age, a big age range in my clients that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely can see where I've been thinking that, selling of the finished pieces, that I've been thinking that my target, that they were purchasing for themselves. But now that I, really think about who I've sold to, it's probably, it definitely is more than half that are purchasing them as gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't thought about that.
Right. So now when you're starting, it's okay, Tiffany. She can come on and say hi. If my daughter was
My
home, she
son
could go
just
from
came
there.
in from mowing. Sorry.
You're good. Right. So this is where, like on page 4, when it has the template where it's like, who is she, he, they, how does she find us? This is part of that question, right? So how are your clients finding you? The end product may end up in, and I'll use myself as an example, in my hands, but my husband, my son, or my daughter would have bought it for me initially, right? Because now you have me as a customer going, oh my God, like my daughter just bought me this really cute horse thing or this really cute bracelet. This would be a great gift for my mother or for my sister or for my best friend, right? So now I'm a secondary target. Or do I find you on your social media platform and I make the hints to my husband or to my daughter? This would be a really cute Mother's Day gift.
Mm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So Maria, you're wanting to focus on your life coaching, right? Okay. So same idea. Who is your target market, right? Are you mostly female or are you going to be mostly male?
Starting out, mainly women.
Okay. So because the beautiful thing about our avatars is we get to choose,
Mm-hmm.
right? We get to choose who we work with, who we sell to, who we interact with.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to confidence and comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So out of, men and women, are you more confident talking to women or are you more confident talking to men?
Oh yeah, women.
Right. So you now know women is going to be who you are going to talk to because you're confident.
And it's funny. I'm more confident talking to women, but I'm also more comfortable just being around men. So it's kind of like,
Right. So being around them and speaking with them is two different things.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah. So, um, so that's part of how, because your interaction with your clients and your customers comes down to your confidence level, because it comes down to how you're presenting yourself. So even with you're right now at service-based, but it could turn into where there's a product-based piece to it for you as well, right? Where you're selling certain products that you've created or developed. So with Tiffany and Susan, it's like, this even impacts you. Like if you're more comfortable speaking to women, if you're more comfortable speaking to men, then that's how you start your language and that's how you start your messaging, because that's where your confidence is going to come from. When you're doing Mother's Day specials, we'll use that as an example since it's around the corner. right? Your language is going to shift because now you're talking to the husbands. Now you're talking to the fathers because they're going to have to buy on behalf of their children. Or you would think, right? Like I just remember my dad used to have to take my sister and I shopping for my mother, right? For Mother's Day. My husband has to take my kids shopping, for me for Mother's Day, right? So when you're doing seasonal specials, your messaging is going to be slightly different from the rest of the year, from the rest of the time.
Can you also let apply to services?
Yes. So if you're going to have like a birthday special, your language is going to be different. Right. Yeah. Or give yourself a gift this year, right?
Right. Yeah.
Your language will be different. Give your spouse the gift of support by providing a service, right? Like going into a program with them. Because I've had parents contract me to work with their children, like their adult children, where it was like, right? This is my gift to my daughter. I want to set her up for success with her business. So we're going to pay for her services for you. Right. So there is that piece of it. Not very often. Right. But it does happen. But that's the special piece. So where do people find each of you guys right now? Like what social platforms, where have you been sharing who you are and what you do and what you provide, whether it be a product or service, doesn't matter.
Well, I've been, my main social media is Facebook. So that's primarily where I'm just trying to connect like with the people that I knew on my personal Facebook and now trying to drive people to my business Facebook page. So that's definitely my social media that I use the most.
Tiffany, Maria?
I've tried using several. I've tried several months for each one, like TikTok. I started with TikTok and then I went to Pinterest and then I tried Facebook and I just took whatever I got from all of those, using them for like several months at a time just to see how many more people I got from each one to pick which one was best. I do get a lot of search purchases, most of my purchases actually came from direct search on Google or Bing.
Okay. So your website is your number one source of sales then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just SEO is what I've been focusing on too, is getting my website more SEO optimized and learning how to optimize its SEO.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that's huge. It's huge. Yeah. Okay. So Maria, where are you with your services?
So as you know, I'm kind of branching out into the content creation part of it all, for the translation part. For the language coach, I'm still trying to figure that part of it out. But I have myself on different platforms like Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. Started on trying to get on TikTok.
It's a different bird.
Yeah. I'm actually on Patreon, but I haven't really posted much on that yet. I'm on Threads as well, so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place.
Okay.
Just trying to get, and my website as well. I'm also on voice search, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to. I'm playing around with it, so I really don't know which one's the best.
Okay. So that's where you guys are. Knowing who you are wanting to target, where are they? Because that's different to where you might be here, they might be there. And if you're only talking here, you're never going to reach them because they're not where you're at.
Right.
In this instance, you kind of have to go wherever your potential client is. So if you know your primary avatar spends most of their time on Instagram, you have to spend most of your time on Instagram. If they are on TikTok, you have to spend your time on TikTok. If they are on Snapchat, like if you cater to that younger generation, you know, teenage, early 20s, they're on Snapchat. That's where they're at. They're on TikTok, but they're not there as much as they are on Snapchat, right? So you have to kind of know where are your demographic people so you can talk to them. You can't force them to come to you. That will never work, right? So
Right.
In the workbook on page 5, under how do they find you, type in where you think, because it should be a fillable box. I can type on mine, so hopefully that means you guys can type on yours.
Karen,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where to find that.
So I dropped the link in the chat.
Okay. It's been a while since I've been on here, so I don't know where
That's
to find
okay.
the chat, I guess.
So I think if you go under more,
Yes.
and then up at near the top, it'll say chat, or you hit Alt H.
Yeah, I'm not getting it, but is it similar to what you have in that the course that I'm going through?
Yes, it's the same. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So it'll be page 5 on there as well. It's
Okay.
just,
That'll work.
yeah. So yeah, so you want to write down, based on what you know about your avatar right now, where are they? So if you can even just write it down on a note, Susan, right? Like, where are they? And this might require some research to be able to kind of go, well, if my target market is this person and she is this age group, it might be where you have to kind of get on Google and say, what's the most popular social media platform for this age bracket for women or men? And kind of say, Google might say, oh, the majority, and they'll give you stats, right? The majority will be on Instagram. And then from there, that's when you start asking the question. They're on Instagram. We'll use that as an example, because both of you guys, Susan and Tiffany, are visual, right? Everything is very visual. So your platform is definitely going to be more visual. So Pinterest and Instagram, right? And Maria, this is where you would have to create visuals to express your messaging, right? For Instagram and Pinterest, well, really almost all the social platforms.
Right.
Because you can't really take pictures of a service, right?
Right.
So you kind of got to have the imagery that expresses your service. So knowing that, what do they want to see on their platform and what don't they want to see?
How do you find that out?
So that's going to be your kind of part of your market research when you're on the platform. So you're on Instagram, type in, right? You can search by hashtag. So hashtag, whatever your go-to hashtag is that people are going to find you. So Tiffany, yours would be like hashtag horse lovers, right? Or horses on Instagram. Right? So Susan, it'd be like, bead lovers, hashtag bead lovers, something like that. Maria, it might be hashtag Spanish lovers, right? Spanish translators, learning Spanish, kind of thing, right? And then see what is on there. See what shows up with your hashtag search. Like if you guys went into Instagram right now and did that search, what would show up? Right? So if I opened up Instagram, and so I'm looking at the search button, right? So you go under search, and if you put in, let's see, hashtag, right? So like right now, Bead Lovers has like 38,000 posts with that hashtag. And you can follow it. So by looking at the imagery of what's being posted, you can see what people want to see. And you can tell that, but what's that?
Learning Spanish has 3,400. Wait, over 3,000 posts.
Yeah. So what you're then once you pull up those images, right, you can hover over and it'll tell you how many people have liked it, how many plays that reel might have gotten. So you can see like there's a bead purse that has 855 likes and 80 comments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can start to see they don't want to see flip-flops with beads. They want to see a purse with beads. Right? Kind of thing. So, and I only just use bead lovers because it came to mind, right? They're going to want, so, and again, here's one, a bracelet beside a beaded purse, 20 likes for the beaded bracelet, but 844 for the beaded purse. I'm not quite sure what this is, but it has over 10,000 likes. And it's something to do with beads. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's a coaster. I'm not quite sure because I didn't click on it. It's a reel, right? So, but so you can start to determine pretty quickly by putting in the hashtags, what are people liking? What are they interacting with? Right? Because you know they don't want to be sold to. But ironically, beaded flip-flops has 2 likes, where having like a beaded slap bracelet with the colored beads that we're using has 328. So you can start to see people going, oh, they like that because they're being told this bracelet contains these colored beads. This is what you're going to need, right? So they get excited about that because now they can maybe think they can make it themselves or something. I'm not sure, right? I'm just kind of, but this is part of your market research by kind of going in. And so if we did like horses of Instagram is going to likely be, yeah, so horses of Insta has almost 400,000 posts.
Horses are like huge.
Right. Yeah. And so you can start to see, right, these are like pictures of horses and people and different, so you can start to see what are people wanting to see when it comes to horses.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you figure out what they don't want to see.
Right.
Right.
I've done
Because
that.
what you want to make sure is you want to provide them the imagery they want to see, not what they don't want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also becomes an A and B split situation where you can say, I'm going to try the beaded flip-flop picture. And then I'm going to try the beaded purse picture and see out of my audience who likes what more.
They might like yours better.
Right? You never know, right? I mean, it just depends. So you can be testing that, and it's going to take you 2 or 3 weeks of kind of doing that A/B split testing of what you think they like. So you can refine what it is you're going to be sharing. And the imagery is going to answer their pain points. Because they're going to see the image first. No matter what platform you're on, the imagery is going to be what's first. So even for you, Maria, right, it's still going to be the imagery is going to come first. And the imagery has got to be that hook. So, so then, right, that's kind of the higher level of your avatar. So right now, where do you think your person resides when it comes to social media? So the next piece, we kind of dial it down. We get into her details, because right now all 3 of you are kind of looking at that female market, right? So what's her background? So your perfect client, are they college educated? Are they working full time? Are they a stay-at-home mother? Do they have a side gig? Are they the primary breadwinner? Where do they fit in that hierarchy of social expectations, right? And then based on your product and service, where does she reside? Where does she live? Does she have to be local to you? Does your product ship international? Does it have to be, are you confined by borders? Whether that be your local county borders, your state borders, the country. Is there a border within which she has to live? Or that you prefer that she lives? Remember, this is you get to define that, right? We can have customers anywhere we want, but do you want the hassle of sending something overseas and having to fill out all the export details? As an example, right? I only know because my family's in Canada, and when I ship anything to my mother or my sister, like I got to fill out the duty paperwork. I just save it until I drive up there. But right, so those are the things you want to start looking at. Like, where do I want them to live? Like, I want them to live where? And what's her family like? Is she married? Is she divorced? Is she single? Single mother? Does she have kids? No kids? Pets? Is she close with her family? And what's her research process like? Because remember, you're providing a solution to something she's experiencing. So how is she going to find you? Like how is she going to prioritize finding you? Like, is it, and this is for product or service based, right? So is it she has limited capital, so she doesn't have a large disposable income, so she's budget minded, so she has limited resources, so what are her words that she's going to be using when she's looking for you? Because this all plays into that messaging on how you're going to speak to them. And then how does she spend her free time when she's not at work, or if she's not, whether she's a stay-at-home mom or not, it doesn't matter. Like, what is she doing for herself? How is she spending her time? And we kind of touched on this when we looked at that social hashtag, right? But like, what kinds of posts does she interact with? And that's part of that market research. Is she a quote person? Like, I keep seeing these Instagram people show up going, this is how much money I made by posting quotes. And I'm like, please.
They just want to make videos.
Right. I'm just like, oh gosh. Right.
The stuff you put out there is ridiculous.
So I kind of laugh, but I think how many people actually like kind of fall for that,
I
right?
know.
So because I'm like going, that's a lot of money. I'm so glad that I realized that it's not actually true. So but talking about quotes, are they a quote person? Do they like, are the things they're interacting with, are they inspirational? Right. Mm-hmm. So is it a picture of a horse with an inspirational quote on it? Is it a picture of something to do with languages that has an inspirational quote on it? Like, what are they drawn for? So when they're looking at your stuff that's showing up on their feed, and Instagram just launched on Tuesday a completely different algorithm for their reels. So, so what does she want to, learn when she comes, right? So we're either educating, we're inspiring when we're posting. So what is she looking to gain from you? Because what are you trying to build by having her interact with your posts? Because we buy from people that we know,
Like and trust.
can trust.
Yep.
So she's trying to build that level of trust where she's going, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to buy from her. Because again, if we don't know the person, how do we trust that the product we're going to receive is going to be a quality product or a quality service? And I'm going to give you an example. I got a cold direct message this morning saying, hey, would you like to have a virtual assistant for less than $5 an hour? And I was like, what? And I'm like, how? So I responded, I said, oh, that sounds lovely, but how are you working for less than $5 an hour? And then the response was, well, it's $299 a month. I said, so you're telling me you're working 60 plus hours a month to do all of this? And it's really all social media stuff. And they go, yes. And I go, I just don't believe it. Not for the quality. I can't ask somebody to work for less than $5 an hour to do quality content. Right?
Plus they're in the Philippines.
Oh yeah. But even then, right?
I know.
Even then. So, so that's part of that like, know, and trust piece, right? They're trying to discern based on your posts and your interaction. Is this somebody that's going to send me a quality product or work with me with a quality level of integrity and knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of your messaging, part of that market research when you kind of get on and figure out exactly what they're not liking to see and what they are liking to see. And you can, everything is public, right? Domain when you're talking social media. So you can do some Facebook stalking and Instagram stalking, right? Where you can actually see who's liked a certain post and click on their profile to see what they are posting and to get an idea of who they are as a person. Because if you see the same person kind of liking and interacting with certain imagery, you want to know who that person is. So you're going to want to say, oh, look at Tiffany, like this picture of the beaded purse, right? It's like, who is Tiffany? And you're going to get on their profile and you're going to say, oh, she posts all these pictures of her and her 10-year-old daughter doing all these crafts. That's kind of her Instagram feed. So all of a sudden now it's like, well, what kind of words is she using in her own posts? What emojis is she using? Because remember, like AI is going to give out like, the emoji diarrhea with every caption they write for you. You need to pick and choose to make sure they're aligned with who your audience is. And that's part of that market research where you kind of get in and say, oh, look, Maria always uses, I call it the Spanish dancer, right? The girl in the red dress dancing. She reminds me of a Spanish dancer, right?
That's what she is.
Right. Yeah. So, right. So to me, that emoji would invoke like, oh, that totally reinforces what you're telling me as a translator.
I'm totally going to steal that.
Right. So you start to understand where you can, when you do the Facebook stalking or Instagram stalking, is really about the market research. You want to get to know them. And you want to know what words they're using. The other piece you want to find out is what time of day. And that's where when you click on, certain profiles, you can say she posts all the time at 5 a.m.
Is that where a calendar, is that where a scheduler comes in handy for posting?
Yeah. Yeah. So like I post the daily agenda at 6 a.m. and I have it pre-scheduled. Just because I want it before everybody else gets up. I want it on the social media side, right? It's not really a personalized post. It's just information that's out there. So that's the purpose of it. So I don't really care who's online. I just kind of want it out there. So you have to understand the intention behind what you're posting as well and what you're communicating. When you're creating content specifically for your users and followers, it's really important to post when they're online, right? So are they on certain days? And you can tell that by saying, oh, she posted 4 days ago. Okay, that was Sunday or Monday. Oh, she posted, we can't really maybe tell a time specific, but she posted that day. So, okay, so so maybe my avatar is Monday, right? So you ask any of your local gyms, what is the busiest day of the week? And they're going to tell you Monday, the moment we open. Because everybody's had the weekend off and now they're feeling guilty and they want to hit the gym as soon as it opens before their day starts. And that's their busiest time of day and their busiest day of the week. So without doing any type of market research, when do you think is the busiest time for your people to be online? So I'm going to go, maybe if I hit the right one. Inside of your, let's see.
Is it on the meta side of it?
Yeah, maybe it is. I was just going to say inside of your, but I'm on my computer. So sometimes it's not always the most friendly when you're on your computer versus your phone to get information. So, because what you want to, you can find out kind of your statistics. Yeah, it's not letting me on my computer. So you can find out when people interact with you the most. So your insights. And I'm going to look at my phone now. That's bugging me. So on your insights, it will tell you when your busiest times and interactions are. Let's see. So yes, see, of course, on my phone, it's going to be there, but so it's going to tell you how many accounts that you reached, accounts engaged, total followers, right? And it's going to kind of go last 7 days. And you can kind of pick that time frame.
Where do you see it
right?
on your phone?
You go under settings and activity. And then it'll say for professionals for insights. So, and in here, it will actually tell you, I don't know if it'll show, no, not, it won't. So how many followers, if it was post, reels, and stories, your top content, the content interaction. And so like, and you have to hit a certain engagement level to get to unlock all of the insights. So your goal is to kind of get up above, I think they say it's got to be, you have to have more than 100 accounts interacting with your content daily in order to unlock a whole nother set of insights. That's kind of your first goal with whatever platform you're on, understanding what their requirements are to see all the insights. So that way you can really monitor, are you online when your people are online? So the other question is going to be, do they interact with stories versus reels versus static posts?
I noticed mine varies.
Yeah. So but whatever they interact with the most for, right? So if you're going to kind of pick a couple of different people to kind of dive into where are they at and when are they online and what are they interacting with, get an idea of, are they interacting more with stories or reels or static posts? Because you're going to want to cater to that as well. Now, the one thing that Meta just unlocked with Reels on Tuesday is that even the smaller ones are going to have a chance to go viral. They're actually mimicking the whole TikTok approach.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And
I've noticed that I started sharing more stories on
so
Facebook.
Reels, more Reels.
Yeah, I've been doing more reels and more stories, and they started picking up on that more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and that's because of the whole decision with TikTok, right? Like if TikTok doesn't do what Congress, right, has dictated that they need to do, then so Meta and Snapchat, like you're going to see a whole slew of changes come over the next month. They're anticipating to pick up the slack, right?
Yeah.
Because there are all these kids, literally all these kids are going to go someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, so if you had to think about your messaging to the people you're talking to, what do you think between kind of looking from the beginning an hour ago to now, what is different that's going to impact your messaging? What is it that you now know now, even if you don't have 100% clarity because you haven't done the market research? What do you know now, or what do you think you know now that you didn't know an hour ago about who your perfect client might be? And this changes, right? So what we have to remember is kind of after any major life change, whether it be for you and your business or for your perfect client, there will be a change in messaging. If there is an economic major change, your avatar will change.
Mm-hmm.
So going through this process of kind of diving into who your perfect avatar and client is happens on a regular basis. This isn't a one and done thing.
I think for me, I've really found clarity on how, because I've gone through this process so many times, but in my brain I can never correlate the reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like the first time I've ever been able to realize what that's for and how to implement it in my business. And it's, to me, I would be able to go through and find an avatar or a specific person and match them with a product that I can therefore create messaging and create the product for that person, and then find where they are and implement that product, that specific product, in with that area of testing. Basically, I mean, you're always testing places, but it's like you have to find a place to focus in order to find the results for those tests before you can really move forward.
Right. Yep.
So, and everything takes time, but I mean, I have a better idea of getting my messaging in line with the avatar. So like taking that messaging and researching who that avatar really is and what they would actually be wanting from me.
Yeah. And I think part of what, just to expand on it too, right? Like both you and Susan having that product-based piece, that you can have two avatars that you can be talking to, right? Mm-hmm. You can be having the end user, so me, right? And then you can have the gift buyer, my husband, or my teenage daughter, right? So your messaging can one time be targeting me, the next one can be targeting them.
Yeah.
Right. So you can have this dual split but knowing that if you're talking to, like my 13-year-old daughter, what she's thinking, right? As a 13-year-old versus what I'm thinking as a 50-year-old, right?
Right.
So that language, those keywords are going to be different. The terms are going to be different. The hashtags will be, will be
Right.
different, right?
Right.
But you can do that. What you want to start with is one avatar. And then when
Right.
you kind of get that messaging refined, then you can say, now I really want to start targeting this avatar because this is my secondary avatar.
Okay.
Okay.
That does make sense.
So, and let's talk about if you're going to do specials, and we'll use Mother's Day as an example, at what point do you want to start targeting that secondary gift buyer avatar? And this will go for you too, Maria. You're going to want to start 3 months in advance.
Yes.
I'm a little behind on that now.
3 months. Okay.
Yep. So,
Right.
and what's that?
I said I'm a little bit behind on that, apparently.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the thing is, and the reason is because they have to interact with you. And interact is more than just like a little heart emoji. It's like making a comment, right?
Mm.
They have to interact with you at least 7 times before they're going to make a decision to actually purchase. And it might take them 2 months to do that 7 interaction.
Right.
And that 3rd month is when they'll take action to actually make the commitment.
Mhm.
So knowing if you're going to have, so Maria, like for you, if you're going to have a product launch or a service launch, you need to back out when you start that marketing on your social media to your perfect avatar for that particular product or service.
Okay.
Yeah. What else you guys got? What else you want to ask? Susan, what are you thinking regarding for you with where you were at the beginning versus now?
Well, it's definitely something that I've thought about multiple times. And so it just kind of brings everything back to the front. Like, okay, I need to go back in and really look at um, who those potential purchasers will be. I actually had not thought about going and doing some Facebook stalking and actually looking to see what I mean. I guess I know who or my immediate close friends where I see their posts all the time. I know what they do, but not um, others who would be potentially out there. And so that's just something that I hadn't really thought about. That I will definitely do some of just to kind of get an idea. And I know, and the other thing that came just, I knew this before, but is just bringing it back is testing different types of posts and things that I put out there to see, and which ones are um, being seen more or interacting with. Um, and I also know that like consistency is where I fail, where I struggle. I struggle with consistency. I did a really nice job a while ago with scheduling my posts out, and I actually really loved that. I had them all scheduled, and boom, they just appeared. And then once I'm like, oh, that's great. Then I never did it again. So it's that continuous being reminded of, hey, you knew this worked before. Let's get in there and try it again until it becomes more of a habit
Yeah.
instead of just a one-timer thing.
And that becomes like a time management thing, right? So looking at your
Yes.
schedule and saying, I'm going to set the last 2 days of each month to pre-schedule the next month's content, and kind of giving yourself permission to do that. Because I think as
Right.
small business owners, we get caught up in every day to day to day, and we don't give ourselves permission to say, okay, so today, nothing else, unless it's life threatening, matters. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do today. Right. And I think
what
that's,
I'm kind of I jumped back on or the Trello and
yeah.
using that as a visual. So my plan, and I mean it's only happened this week, but my plan is like every Sunday I have all these different. I want to make sure that I'm focusing on social media, and do I have any what are the big ticket items? And so I put them out there, and my hope is to at least get one of them from each category done each week.
Right.
And so each week spending some dedicated time on the social media posts, and spending time on my finances, and spending time on creating new things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hopeful that Trello is going to be that visual reminder that I really need.
So, Trello has a mobile app too, right?
I did not, or I did not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and because I use the mobile app as well as the desktop. And
Okay.
so I don't have to be in front of my computer to kind of go, oh, what's next? What's next?
Right. And for me, what I really like is I can visually see that this week I've already done big chunks of things. Like, and one of my target is learning something new. Whether it be learning a new beading technique or learning a new business thing. I was feeling like I know I'm busy all the time, but I couldn't remember what have I done this week towards my business.
Right.
And now I've got a visual that's going to be at the end of the week. I can see boom, boom, boom. I've done this. I have been moving forward, because I was feeling very stuck in the mud, like I wasn't going anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Good. That's great. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. Maria, so between the beginning and now, what clarity have you gained around for your potential clients? Because you were looking at your coaching, your new coaching. So now are you going to be doing, because you've said two different terms, are you going to do life coaching or language coaching?
It just depends, I guess. I'm not really sure.
Okay, so you got to make a decision, right? Because that's going to impact your avatar, and it's going to impact your messaging.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to the language part of it once I'm doing more the translations and stuff on that side of the business, and stick to, one business thing at a time kind of situation. So it may be dual, but it won't be at the same time.
Okay.
I'll figure that out here in the next couple of weeks. But,
like your language coaching is more aligned with what you already do and your expertise, right?
Right. And that's the life coaching is something that happened like this week. So I'm still learning all that, how that's gonna work out. But I like what Tiffany and what Susan said too. I'm kind of like right in the middle with them. I have been doing a lot of Facebook stalking, not so much Instagram, but I might be doing that now too. But and trying to figure out what they like and what they don't like. That's where I'm having a hard time figuring that out. As to what kind of content to put out there, what kind of blogs to put out there, and what kind of services to kind of offer as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that's helped me keep up with my planning and visual part of it is I have two planners, well, three, if you consider laptop. But I created like a content planner. And I don't know if y'all can see it, but
yep.
And that's kind of helping me keep on top of how I'm gonna strategize from when I'm planning, from when I'm posting, from when I'm videoing,
Yeah.
things like that. I like the just file system. It helps me create my own calendars. I like to do it that way. I like to have it in my own visual way because I like to
Mm-hmm.
create them up. And I have Google Calendar that I use. I have my phone. I have all calendars that I use.
Yeah. Now, do they speak to each other?
They do. I have it through Digital. I don't know if you heard
Okay.
them. They're it looks like this. They're
Oh,
actually
yeah.
free. It's a
Yeah.
free app and it syncs all your calendars together. And then
Nice.
I have one thing made life calendar app that I use. It helps
Oh, okay.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I created a couple of them and they all work in alignment with what I need. So I have my personal and my, business side.
Right.
Um, but my takeaway is at least I kind of have an idea of who my avatars are now. A little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm still deciding with the translation part of it, that could be, anybody really. But I'm trying to gear towards a individual small business.
Yeah. So you
One that
want to define that though. You want
yeah.
to you can't talk to everybody. So you have to pick somebody to talk to,
Right.
right? And you have to just let the outliers be outliers.
Yeah.
So, right, like my demographic is women,
Mm-hmm.
but I have men,
Yeah.
right? So I don't talk to them, I don't cater to them, but I still
Mm-hmm.
have men,
Yeah.
right? So I don't have to worry about them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I know if I'm the right person, they'll find me and I'm not going to worry about it, right? So
That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah.
yeah, so just pick one and go after that, right? Really hone in on who that person is and don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about everybody else because you can't speak to everybody. So you kind of almost you need to say, I only speak to this individual,
Right.
right? No.
Yeah. And I think narrowing that down helps me out a little bit. I kind of, narrowing down more, but at least I narrowed it down to 5.
Yeah.
So, but I
Okay.
need to narrow it down a little bit more. So,
Okay. Yes. Perfect. All right. So it's 10 after 1. How's everybody feeling regarding the workbook? You can fill that in. You guys can comment. There is inside of the women's business resource community, there's the conference rooms and there's a general community chat group that you guys can post questions into, and we can interact in there as well. So we can further kind of refine any of your questions and things like that.
yeah,
So
I kind of forget about that page altogether. And
yeah.
I need to put it on my link somewhere.
Yeah. So when you log in, right? So like if I go
Yeah.
in, let me just see here.
I mean, I have it, but I usually go to the Facebook one and I don't go to the other one.
Right. So like when you log in, I'll just share this quickly, right? So when you log in, you're going to go to your dashboard,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and up here, the conference rooms, that's where you're going to find all of the different groups that you can be interacting with, right? So this
Okay.
community center, that's where you can be going into and posting comments and questions and getting input.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the other thing is if we go to the calendar, I just want to double check since I'm here. I think it's Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Wednesday at noon is the next Biz 101. So this is a group coaching done by Zoom again, where it is like the agenda is led by those that attend. And this is free and it's part of being a member within the community that you guys can hop on. And then I think if I don't see, oh, yeah, so there's the link there. So you just have to kind of copy and paste. I'll just put Maze isn't in there, but I'll put Maze in there. So that's available as well, right? So as you guys have other information, you can jump into that. I think it's the second Wednesday of every month is that free Biz 101.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And then the neighbor level, it has 2 extras. So you actually have 3 chances for those group coaching sessions as well. So, okay. Any questions around the workbook, around your avatar, messaging, steps you might need to take next?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Okay. It can kind of be a lot, right? Like when you start to,
Yeah.
it can start getting overwhelming. So
I'm
Yeah, I get overwhelmed easily.
I'm kind of trying to figure out what comes next with the life coaching thing, but I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
eventually.
Okay, perfect. And part of it is just sitting with it too, right? And just letting it kind of, you know, and that's where the doom scrolling, you can say, oh, this is really kind of a waste of time, but I'm doing market research.
Right.
My avatar. So, all right then, ladies, then we will we'll call it good, and then use the community center group in the membership site or the Facebook group, and just we can keep the conversations going.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Thank you, Karen.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Yep. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.